Hello everyone, welcome to my tutorial on object-oriented programming in Java. Today's tutorial I'm going to talk about method overriding. We know from the inheritance concept that a child class inherits all the methods of the superclass. But if the child class would like to implement its own implementation that it has inherited from the superclass, then we get the concept of the overriding. That means method overriding gives a subclass the ability to make its own implementation defined in the superclass. So, in order to make the overriding happen, the subclass needs to have the same name, parameter, and return type of the method that is defined in the superclass. And in the subclass, we call that method to be the overriding method, and in the superclass, we call that the overridden method. Now, there are some rules for this method overriding. The rules are: number one, private methods are not overridden. Then, overridden methods can't have narrower access to child class. Let's say you define the superclass a method as public access modifier. That means anyone can access it, but the overriding method cannot have a lower access. That means it cannot make it a private method. Then the final methods cannot be overridden. Static methods cannot be overridden. Overriding method must have same return type or subtype. Overridden methods can be invoked from subclass with keyword super. That means you can invoke the superclass method from the subclass method using the keyword super. And then we have to remember that the constructors cannot be overridden. So let's take an example. Let's say I have a class that is, the name is parent class, okay, and in that I have a method called print, and then I have another method called print name. Okay, in the subclass, let's say I am going to define something as child. Okay, and in this subclass I'm going to inherit this method and also this method. Let's say the method implementation is saying system.out.println is printing from parent. Okay, but in the child class is going to get what? This one and this one as well, because the child is implementing the parent. Now, if I would like to override this method, I'm going to say print name, and I'm writing as system.out.println, and I'm saying here as printing from child. So you can see that the implementation here is different, right? This implementation was telling that system.out.println printing from parent, but this implementation is a different implementation, and we are saying the printing from child. So it's a different way that I'm going to implement it. Now you can see that both of these are same name, print name and print name. Both have default access modifier. I mean, whatever the access modifier you do, it doesn't matter unless you are making it private, but make sure that this one doesn't get narrower. That means here, if you declare here public, you cannot declare that as a private, okay, because this is a narrower access modifier compared to public. So this method we are calling that the overriding method, and this one we are calling overridden method. Okay, so let's take one example. I have defined a parent class here which is just named as parent, and I have string name, and I have two methods here, and one method is print something and the other one is just the print, and taking one string parameter. And if you look at the child class, the child class is extending parent, and this one, this parent name is defined actually in over here. So see the same data type with the same name and same parameter, and the implementation is different. You can say that, okay, there was one system.out and here the same system.out is same, but it's not the same because I modified this method over here in the child. So that's why I'm saying that this is a new implementation. Okay, and this print method is the method from itself, like this is not defined in the parent class. Okay, so this is an example of the method overriding. And let's say if I make it, so let's make it public, and you can see like there should be an error immediately coming from the child because it's saying that the visibility, the change method visibility to public. Okay, because this one is now default visibility within the same package, but itself again the access modifier is narrowing down, so this is not applicable over here. And let's get it back, and if you make this as a private, okay, in that case let's come over here, and there is no error because the private method is a method that is not inherited. So in that case, this class, I mean this method, is the method itself of the child. So that means what I'm trying to say is, let's take, we know that the private methods are not inherited. So in the parent, let's say I have this print method and I make it as private. In the child, if I'm writing this print method, they are not same. Okay, why not same? Because this child doesn't have, or this child don't have this method coming from the parent. Okay, so that means this parent, I mean this print method is just its, or just the child's own method. So that's all for today's understanding of method overriding, and we need this concept and we need to know the rules very much because these are very much asked in different interviews, and we also be needing these concepts for understanding another feature of object-oriented principle, and that is called the polymorphism. Thank you.